Helping bring you this event, Spoonerville Animal Clinic, located on the north end of Canton by Sedgwick Funeral Homes, located in Canton, Farmington, and Bartonville. Remax Traders Unlimited, Susie McMillan, your agent. Canton Wesley United Methodist Church, located on North Avenue A by AM 1560 WBYS, your voice of Fulton County, and 93.7 FM, and M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, Monocle's Pizza, located on North 5th Avenue in Canton. In Canton, we deliver. The Bank of Farmington, in Canton and in Farmington. Stereo Village, located on South 4th Avenue in Canton. Lambs of God Daycare and Preschool, located on North Avenue A in Canton. By CD Country 107.9, your home in the country. And by M. Bixler Video Productions.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Donaldson Center at Wallace Park in Canton, as it is the Meet the Candidates Forum for the election coming up on April 4th. Right now, let's go to our moderator of tonight's event, Kevin Stevenson.
Good evening, and welcome to the Donaldson Center here at Wallace Park in Canton for this Meet the Candidates Forum. I'm Kevin Stevenson, the moderator. As we begin, please stand as you are able, face the U.S. flag, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's event is organized by the Fulton County Farm Bureau's Legislative Committee and the Canton Area Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee. Funding support and sponsorship is also provided by American Pest Control. We welcome all of you attending in person, to the live listening audience on WBYS AM 1560 and FM 93.7, and the viewers on the Canton, Cuba, and Lewistown cable TV systems, thanks to the cooperation of M. Bixler Video Productions. The purpose of this forum is to allow candidates the opportunity to present information about themselves, their platforms, and their ideas. It is not being conducted in a debate format. Candidates whose names appear on the April 4th consolidated election ballot in Canton were sent a letter inviting them to appear. Even though all candidates were invited, we realize some have other commitments that have been made prior to them knowing the date and time of our event this evening. Therefore, they're not able to attend. Others have chosen not to participate. The candidates will speak in the order their names appear on the ballot. Each candidate will be introduced by the moderator. All candidates will be given up to 3 minutes to speak. Serving as the timer is the manager of the Farm Bureau, Elaine Stone. Elaine will inform the candidates when their time is up by the sound of the bell. In fairness to all candidates, the time limits will be carefully monitored and enforced. A question and answer portion of the program will take place after all candidates have spoken. It will be for those offices where more than one candidate for that office is present tonight. One exception to that rule pertains to the candidates for Canton Alderman. 2 of the 4 wards are uncontested. There are a total of 6 aldermanic candidates on the ballot. All 6, or however many of the 6 are present tonight, will be asked to come forward and participate in the question and answer portion as a group. I will ask questions that have been provided by the Farm Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, local media, and unbiased out-of-the-area persons in the education field. Candidates are under no obligation to respond to questions if they choose not to. The response to the first question directed to a candidate will be made in the opposite order of how their names appear on the ballot. The order of first response will alternate for each subsequent question. Responses to questions will be limited to 1 minute. No questions will be taken from the audience, either in written or spoken form. The Farm Bureau and the Chamber reserve the right to determine, as the program moves along, and in the interest of time, how long the question and answer segment will continue. Fulton County Clerk Jim Nelson is here this evening. After the question and answer segment, he will have information for us about voting procedures and other matters of interest to voters on April 4th. You'll notice there are campaign materials in the back of the room to look at and pick up after the meeting. Refreshments will be served at the conclusion of the event as well. All candidates are also welcome to stay afterwards and talk to the audience one-on-one. So let's get underway with our first race. For Canton Township Supervisor, there's one candidate running, Democrat Melanie Sepich.
Well, I'm going to make this real short. I'm Melanie Sepich. I've been your Canton Township Supervisor since 1988. I just wanted to thank everybody for having the opportunity, to thank you for the support you've given me in the past, and to please vote for me on April 4th. Thank you.
For Canton Township Clerk, there's a candidate running, Democrat Sissy Conklin.
Hello, I'm Sissy Conklin. I am the Canton Township Clerk, and I have held that position since 2001. I appreciate the support you've given me in the past and hope that you'll consider the support on April 4th. Thank you.
For Canton Township Trustee, there are 4 candidates running for 4 seats. 2 of the candidates are here tonight. One of them, Democrat Brad O'Brien.
Hello, I'm Brad O'Brien of Canton. I would like Sissy and Melanie, I'd like to thank you for the support in the past. I've been a township trustee for about 6 years and look forward to another term serving the Township of Canton, and would appreciate your vote on April 4th. Thank you.
Also for Canton Township Trustee, one of the 4 candidates, Democrat Mark Renault.
Hello, I'm Mark Renault. I've been a trustee for 8 years, and I'm interested in running again. I sure would like to have your support again, and make sure you vote on April 4th. Thank you.
For trustees of the Spoon River Community College District 534, there are 6 candidates running for 3 seats, each with 6-year terms. 4 of those candidates are here tonight. We'll hear first from Jerry Kramer. Thanks for coming, Jerry.
My name is Jerry Kramer. I'm a lifelong resident of Medina County. Spent all my adult life in Macomb. I currently work for Citizens Bank in the trust department, doing the farm management and commercial property management work. My wife Diana is a retired school teacher. We have 3 sons who also reside in Macomb. I kind of followed their academic career. That's how I got my start on different boards that I've served on, serving on 4-H, Little League, and Booster Club boards throughout the school district. After they got through their academic career, I kind of moved over a little bit and had the opportunity to get involved with the Spoon River College Advisory Board, which led into the opportunity to be on their foundation, which I've served 1 term and currently serving my 2nd term there. Served 2 years as president in my 1st term. I also serve currently on the Macomb Education Foundation Board, as well as the Western Athletic Leatherneck Club Board, and I spent some time on the Macomb School Board. I was appointed to an open position there and then was elected to a 4-year term after that. And I think all the time that I spent on these different boards has given me an opportunity to kind of get a feel for things, and the experience that I've gathered from that, I think, makes me a candidate for the Board of Trustees, and I would appreciate anybody's support for the election, and again, encourage everybody to come out and vote. Thank you.
For Spoon River College Board, Dave McGuire.
Thank you very much. My name is Dave McGuire, and I'm from Macomb, Illinois, and I've had the pleasure of serving on the Spoon River College Board and now completing a term. I've also served as chairman of the board at the college. I've been a businessman from the city of Macomb, been a lifelong resident from McDonough County. I've had the opportunity to serve and work with the educational institutions that we have had both in our area and throughout the state of Illinois. The issues facing our college board are going to be very far-reaching in the next few years as we deal with the financial situations created by the state of Illinois and the ability to provide low-cost education for our students throughout the community. I'm looking forward to having your support as I run for re-election to the board and hoping to serve the community in that capacity. Thank you.
For Spoon River College Board, Reynold Bleem.
Good evening. I'm Reynold Bleem, and one of the main reasons I'm here is really to put a face with a name at this stage. Also, I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I've been in Havana for about 20 years. My wife, Melanie, we've been married for 23 years. I have 2 children. My son, Samuel, he's 16. He actually goes to Spoon River College and the dual credit program. He's taken some summer courses. I have a daughter, McKenna. She's 14. Quick background, I grew up on a dairy farm in southern Illinois and ended up going into pre-med and becoming a chiropractor because I injured myself on the farm. But that's where I'm from, is the southern Illinois situation. My interest in Spoon River College comes because I was able to utilize a local junior college in order to get all the information that I needed to get my pre-med in southern Illinois and then move on from there. I've been very active in my church. I've sat on church boards in the past. I've done chamber boards, and really just very active with the children that I work with and trying to get the kids to buy into staying close, utilize what they have close because of the expense of Spoon River College is much less. And if we can have the teachers also kind of guide folks into that direction as opposed to a big university, that'll really help out locally. And it really makes sense at this point to have somebody who is a representative from the town that they have a satellite in at this stage. So thank you for your support. I hope I have your vote in a few days. Thank you.
And for Spoon River College Board, Kevin Mead.
Well, I think most of you are familiar with me. I'm Kevin Mead. I've spent my life in Canton, was born and raised here, spent 24 years working in city government, 19 as an alderman, 5 years as mayor, and spent 31 years working with the educational profession. So I think I'm very well qualified for the educational field, especially also a graduate of Spoon River College, and I've served on the foundation board of Spoon River College as well. Obviously a lot of boards and commissions throughout my career here in the city. But I think the important thing is the college really is a great economic driver for what we do in this community and the communities we serve besides Canton. And I think that is a unique position to be able to be sort of that mix of economics and education. They have to educate those who want to go on to a 4-year education, those who are just looking for trade schools, seniors that want to learn more, those who want to acquire different skills. It has a very unique position. So I'm excited about the board. I've been always involved with the college. I look forward to your support to be able to serve a term on that board, and I hope I can count on that on April the 4th. Thank you.
Moving on, for members of the Canton Union School District 66 Board of Education, there are 4 candidates running for 3 seats, each of them with 6-year terms. 2 of the 4 candidates are here tonight. We'll hear first from Lori Coleman.
Good evening. I'm Lori Coleman. I have lived in Canton most of my 54 years. Now you know how old I am. My husband, Kevin, is the pharmacy manager at the Hy-Vee Pharmacy, and I work as a registered nurse at Graham Medical Group with Dr. Kruk's office. Kevin and I attended Central Elementary School, Canton Junior High, and graduated from Canton High School together. We moved here to raise our children, Emily and Clint, who both are Canton High School graduates. We felt that Canton offered a solid family base, a church base for us, a wonderful park system, and a strong school district. It has been my honor to serve on the Canton School District for the past 10 years. I first filled a 2-year unfulfilled term, then a 6-year full term, and then another 2-year term. I wanted to give back to my community and finally be thankful for all the blessings that our family has received by living here. I'm a 7th generation who has lived in this county. Being on the school board has been both rewarding and challenging. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week elected non-paying position. Don't let anyone tell you it's just a once-a-month meeting. That's how they get you. Helping build a strong community starts with a strong school district. And hiring a superintendent is the number one job that we do. The other job that isn't our job is policy and procedure. We have been energized because we have a new superintendent this year, and he has brought many new programs that we are moving forward to. And it's a big task, and they are doing a great job. We're doing Lego learning, we're doing STEM, Project Lead the Way, and we're rolling out a one-to-one computer for each kid in the district. We are determined to be leaders for our children, providing them with 21st century opportunities to aid them in becoming strong members of a global community. I believe in treating the whole child. I have no agenda other than to provide a great education for my granddaughter and for the other people, young people in our community. I would appreciate your vote on April 4th for Canton School Board. Thank you.
Also for Canton School Board, Tom Snowman. Thanks, Tom.
My name is Tom Snowman, and I'm seeking re-election for the school board. Many of you probably know me from my many years of teaching here, 34 years in the public schools here in Canton, 27 years part-time in Spoon River. I'm just wrapping up 19 years in the Spoon River Academy and the McCall Safe School. I've served 12 years on the school board, and I've been an active member. I've been secretary and served on a number of committees. I've taught art at all levels, from kindergarten through college. I have 2 master's degrees, one in art and the other in administration with a superintendent endorsement. I'm personally interested in our school district and our issues that go in the school system because I'm now having my great-grandchildren starting to go to school here. Over the past 12 years, I've tried to help to meet the needs of all our students in order to prepare them for successful careers. By helping our students, I hope to encourage them to become productive students of our community. I've been working with the board to improve our career opportunities. I feel we have done a good job preparing kids for college, but we also need to prepare them for more vocational opportunities. I feel some of our students would do better if they went into some of the trade schools or technical schools. I feel I'm very aware and actively pursuing issues in the community within our district. I'm excited, as all of our board is, working with the one-on-one, the LEGO curriculum, and the STEM program. Areas I feel that could be worked on maybe more would be maybe trying to get class sizes smaller so it's more one-on-one with the teacher and the children. I think we should expand our vocational opportunities and prepare our students to enter the workforce. The school system could continue to look into dual credit, which would help cut costs for college education and speed up them getting their their college diploma. I am pleased with our school and all the great things that are going on every day in our school district. I think we're becoming one of the premium schools in central Illinois. We have outstanding programs that meet the needs of all our learners. We have policies that we continue to examine and to try and provide a good, safe school system for the kids. And I would appreciate your vote. I am very interested in school. As I look back over my life, I've had a lot of jobs that didn't pay very good. I finally found one that don't pay anything. It's one of the greatest jobs I ever had.
Turning now to City of Canton races, there's one candidate running for city clerk, Diana Pavley Rock.
Good evening, and thank you for coming to meet the candidate night. My name is Diana Pavley Rock, and I'm the current city clerk. I was hired in 2006 by Nancy White as the former city clerk to be her deputy. And then when she retired in 2010, I became the city clerk and filled the remainder of her term, which was 3 years. In 2013, then I was elected as a city clerk. The first 4 years that I was able to work side by side with Nancy really laid the foundation for me to be able to learn how to do the job as a city clerk. And her passing brings me deep sorrow, but yet her friendship and her mentoring brings me great inspiration to be able to continue to bring professionalism, dedication, and honesty in all aspects of the office. I believe that we must stand strong together, and those of us serving as elected officials must lead by example and be available to the public at all times. One question I get from people is, what does a city clerk do? And I think that's important for people to be informed. I do a variety of different things as a city clerk. One of the things I do is I prepare all the agendas for the meetings, type the minutes. I keep the city code up to date as we pass ordinances that affect our code. But yet I also issue all the license in town for various businesses. I serve as a Freedom of Information officer, and also with the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. I manage and I'm the authorized agent for that fund. But then also I do a variety of human resource functions, those including employee benefits, which is the medical, dental, life insurance, the workers' compensation, and property liability for the city. Upon being hired by the city, I immediately took action to continue my education and become certified as a municipal clerk through the International Institute of Municipal Clerks and the University of Illinois. And then I also obtained a certificate in human resource management through Spoon River College. But I found really one of the most valuable tools that I have is being able to go to other municipalities, to be able to learn what they have to bring fresh ideas back to our community. I do believe we have challenges ahead of us, but I think we need to stand strong, not only those of us at City Hall, but all of us in the community. We need to overcome our challenges that we have. I appreciate your vote on April the 4th. Thank you.
There are two candidates running for Canton City Treasurer. Both are here tonight. We'll hear first from Crystal Wilkinson.
Good evening. I'd like to thank all those sponsoring this event tonight for having us. My name is Crystal Wilkinson, and I'm running for the position of City Treasurer for the City of Canton. I've been married to my husband Rick for 35 years, and we reside over on the west side of Canton. Currently, I am the acting City Treasurer, and I was appointed in 2015. My appointment was a result of previous business and accounting positions held over the last 36 years of my career. While working full-time, I earned my accounting degree without student debt. This accomplishment, a credit to my parents for living a strong work ethic in their small business and reliance on faith. While assisting my husband in his endeavor to start his own business, I worked full-time for a large wireless carrier for more than 12 years until they went through reorganization. Prior to joining the City of Canton, I worked as an accounting software trainer. This work required a detailed understanding of common aspects of the accounting process and an ability to translate it to someone else. Drawing on my past work experience has helped create stability in the finance department. This was recently noted by Moody's in their recent report about our credit rating, saying that we were stable due to the new financial team in place and good results of the 2016 audit. This job requires sincere dedication to keep up with the volume of responsibilities entrusted to the treasurer, and professional willing to accept that a 40-hour work week is rare. It is more than paying bills or making deposits. You must be flexible and able to change directions as needed. The city's engine runs on the basis of its finances, which creates a hunger for financial information by various entities throughout the city. Meeting those demands requires flexibility and historical reference. The 2016 audit was successful and shows the finance department is moving in the right direction. As stated by City Auditor Aaron Phillips, the city has a good process in place and information being presented from the finance department is accurate. Everyone is doing a good job. If elected, I will work closely with the city chief executive to provide timely information so they can lead with the most accurate data. The reason the city treasurer is an elected position is citizens need someone watching over financial activities of the city for an impartial perspective. I will honestly and without favoritism toward any administration represent the citizens of Canton's interest. I will serve the citizens and remember the money they've entrusted to the city must accurately be accounted for. In closing, I thank you all for coming and participating. I ask for your consideration to vote for me on April 4th. Thank you.
Also running for Canton City Treasurer, Justin Nelson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Justin Nelson. I'm running for City Treasurer of Canton. I was born and raised here in Canton, and after a brief stint away, my wife and I decided to move back so we could raise our family here in the community we were raised in. I'm a graduate of WIU with a degree in law enforcement administration. After college, I went into banking for 8 years. Before that, I was spent in the supervisory role in investment banking as well. After that, I decided to move into retail supervisory and for a local seed company here where I do their finance and bookkeeping. I've also sat on I'm a current Ward 3 City Alderman here in Canton, where I've sat on the finance committee chair in the past. I'm also sitting on the revolving loan committee. I've also been very involved in this community to community service and charitable organizations, as well as youth sports and the YMCA in different capacities, different jobs there, I guess. I am running to help the city get a better grasp on their finances. We have been basically living paycheck to paycheck as a city for the past few years, and we need to get a better grasp on that. If we don't, our services are already starting to decline. We need to cut wasteful spending because our only other option is cutting personnel, and we've already started doing that, and that's not acceptable to me. I would work with all the department heads to help them cut the wasteful spending that we've had. I would also help them with revenue forecasting to figure out where our revenue is going to be coming from, how we're going to get that in, and how to spend it. And I'd like to get to a point where we have a 3 to 5 year budget laid out, so we're not year to year coming up, in the last month trying to make last minute cuts. And unfortunately, the past few years, it's been personnel. We got to quit doing that. So in conclusion, I think I'd bring my past banking experience as well as my municipal finance experience to best serve the city of Canton. And on April 4th, I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
For Canton Ward 1 Alderman, there are two candidates running for one seat. Both are here tonight. We'll hear first from Angela Lingenfelder.
Good evening, I'm Angela Lingenfelder. To give you a little background on me, my husband, Greg Lingenfelder, and I have been married for 27 years. Greg's been in law enforcement for 31 years. He's currently with the Canton Police Department. I have always worked with this in the Canton area. I was a legal secretary with Claude and Lloyd Barnhart and Bill, and from there I went to the Fulton County Health Department, and for the last 27 and a half years I've been at Illinois River Correctional Center. I've been with AFSCME Local 3585 as a union member, and I'm also the secretary for the Fulton County Democratic Central Committee. If elected, I will work with the City Council and promote Ward 1. And as a representative, I plan to use a lot of common sense and work as a team for the betterment of all the citizens in Canton. And I feel that the most important thing we need to do is work on our future and work on economic development. Being that we are in a rural environment, I think that we're going to have to be very creative and aggressive to obtain economic growth, and that we were going to have to focus on what we have in our area, our great schools, our beautiful parks, the quality of life that we have to offer. We have great hunting and fishing in this area. It's probably some of the best that you can find. I don't know what the answer is, to bring in businesses. Everybody's having issues. Peoria's having issues with losing Caterpillar, all of that. My comment would be to ask the public, call the mayor's office, call city council personnel. People get involved. Give us your comments on what you think would be a great business. I think we also need to work harder on promoting tourism in Canton. We have some great neighbors like Goose Ranch, the Fulton County Camping and Recreational by St. David, the Big Horse Vineyard by Lewiston, Dixon Mounds. We need to partnership more with them to get more involved with tourism. I would like to see the bicycle trails, maybe get a bicycle shop here in our area. I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. I'd like to thank you for your time, and I would appreciate your vote on April the 4th.
Also for Ward 1 Alderman George Hall. Thanks, George.
I'm George Hall, and I appreciate tonight being able to speak to you as taxpayers. I've lived in Canton for 20 years. I first moved to Canton when I accepted the job as project manager for the MSD project. Although this is Meet the Candidate night, I'd like to change that and think of it as a job interview for Canton taxpayers. The first part of my interview would be my education. I have a BS in civil engineering from Virginia Polytechnic Institute. I have a Master's of Business Administration from Western Michigan University. I've been a licensed wastewater treatment operator in Michigan, a licensed professional engineer in West Virginia, Illinois, and Michigan. And I started in Michigan as the manager of engineering and operations for the Muskegon County wastewater treatment system, the first large-scale project to use treated wastewater to irrigate a farm crop. The farm crop was corn, and it was 10,000 acres. It was an award-winning project. I was responsible for hiring and training all operating personnel. I left Muskegon to come to Canton to manage the MSD project. I've started and operated my own environmental engineering firm for 7 years. I've worked on projects in New York, Maryland, Washington, Jamaica, Haiti, and Antigua. I've prepared engineering estimates for large-scale environmental projects up to $10 million. I served on the Fulton County Board from 2007. I have to take these cheaters off because I'm seeing double on this. I served on the Fulton County Board from 2007 to 2012. The first 2 years as chairman. We cut expenses and balanced the county's budget. I served 5 years on the Clayburgh Committee, and the last 2 years I was active in management in the Clayburgh Nursing Home. And with the help of the Clayburgh Committee and the administrator, we were able to cut expenses by reducing overtime and call-ins. We accepted bid on the food supplies and implemented a cost control program. Clayburgh, over those last 2 years that I was chairman, made over $1 million. Under the current management over there, the last 3 years, they've lost $500,000. Experienced managers can make a difference. Now let's talk about the city finances. The last city audit, 2011 to 2016, shows expenditures exceeded revenues by about $2 million. This means another property tax increase this year. The water and sewer fund balance went from $7 million to less than $1 million. Expect a rate hike soon. At the present time, there is no one on the City Council with public works management experience. It is difficult to review the budget and recommend cuts without experience of an engineering background. I believe I can fill this void and stop wasteful spending, tax increases, and improve city services. Hire me on April the 4th, and I'd appreciate it.
For Canton Ward 2 Alderman, there are 2 candidates running for 1 seat. One of them is here tonight, Ed Patton. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And thank you to the Farm Bureau and to the Chamber for inviting us here tonight to talk about the things that we want to do with our city. First of all, I'm Ed Patton, and I'm running for Ward 2 Alderman for the City of Canton. I'm married to my wife for 45 years, and we have 2 sons and 2 grandchildren, ages 5 and 2. I am a retired teacher with Canton School District of 35 years for teaching, and I drove a school bus for 40 years here with the Canton School District. And some of the things that Canton has going for it are the police department, the fire, the rescue, public employees, medical, doctors, hospitals, ambulance, schools, library, and the Park District, and other wonderful merchants, residents, and all the service organizations which support this community. I'm sure that I am forgetting someone, and I apologize for that. This is my first attempt at running for public office. And the reasons for seeking office are that I'd like to see our town continue to grow and prosper. I'd like to see new business coming into town and provide good jobs for our community. I want to work with the City Council as it strives to keep things cost effective and has worked to do as it has done in the past. I'd like to be a part of this city moving forward. With that, I'd appreciate your vote on the 4th of April, and I'd like to help keep this city moving forward. Again, thank you for this opportunity.
For Canton Ward 3 Alderman, there's 1 candidate running for 1 seat. He's here tonight, Christopher Jump.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I want to take a brief moment to thank the Canton Area Chamber of Commerce, the Canton Park District, WBYS, and American Pest Control for putting together tonight's event, and all of you for coming out, and those tuning on the air as well. My name is Chris Jump, and I'm running unopposed for Alderman in Ward 3. I was born and raised here in the city of Canton my entire life, and after graduating law school, I was faced with the decision that a lot of our young people are regularly considering now, and it was the question of should I stay or should I go? And the choice for me was simple because in addition to being close to my family, Canton offered me opportunities that I thought no other place did. An opportunity to grow my professional career, an opportunity to join local boards and organizations to be involved, a wonderful school district and park district to have for when I have children, and a readily available health system, and most importantly, a close, tight-knit, and safe community to raise my family. So my fiance might add in a growing soccer program, but I'm running on a very simple platform. I want to ensure that young people like myself continue to have the same opportunities that I had, and that they had the same desire that I had to come back home. Once elected, I'll be the youngest person on the school or on the Canton City Council, excuse me. And I don't mean that. I don't mean to offend my colleagues, and that's not just a demographic, but my opinion, it's relative. For millennials like myself, when they're facing that decision to return home, their decision, or it's often clouded by the issues we face. They fear of not being able to find a good job. They fear of not being able to secure quality housing. They fear of the lack of newer businesses and the declining city services. They fear of what options they're going to have the next time a layoff happens or a headquarters moves. They fear of the rising property taxes when they're already strapped with student debt. So when I talk to my friends about what they want to do, I understand, I get it, why they're concerned about the future of Canton and what opportunities they're going to have when they come here. So regardless of age, we all know that these are critical issues, just not for retaining our citizens and businesses, but to attracting new young folks and businesses to Canton as well. And it might just be, maybe it's the new specialist we need at Graham. Maybe it's the new engineer we need out at Cook. Maybe it's just the young entrepreneur wanting to start their own business on the square. But all of these issues deserve our full consideration, and that's something I promise to do as alderman. I'm confident that my generation will continue to have the same opportunities I have, and hopefully more, because we are a community that has, I believe, limitless potential when we work together. So, and having the opportunity to serve this community offers so much, offers so much, it would be a great honor to serve you. I'm looking forward to it, and I graciously ask for your vote. Thank you.
For Canton Ward 4 Alderman, there's one candidate running for one seat. He's here tonight, John Lovell.
Good evening. I would like to thank the Chamber and the Farm Bureau for putting this event together, and I would like to thank the citizens of Canton for their support. 4 years ago, I stood up here, having never ran for public office, and I stand here now running again for one reason, because I care about Canton. 4 years ago, I campaigned on issues I felt were important to the citizens of Canton. Little did I know what type of situation the city was in until I got into office. Some of our services were not breaking even on a monthly basis. Our accounting was too general, and funds that were earmarked for certain projects would get used somewhere else because they were all lumped together. Those are much better now, and I'm proud of the strides that we have made in the last 4 years, but there is still more work to do. Any that have seen our budget over the last few years knows we are struggling. Our expenses keep rising, and our revenues are not keeping pace. We have to make some tough choices, but along with that, keeping our cost of living down, making the city more attractive to businesses and families wanting to raise their family here, as well as providing a high quality of life for residents, is what I want to focus on in the next 4 years. I've enjoyed talking to citizens and hearing their ideas, and would like to emphasize that I take every suggestion and idea seriously. Over the years, some of the ideas that I have heard include making Canton Lake more appealing as a destination,
I've long thought Canton Lake is an underutilized resource for Canton, and while we have made some improvements for the campground, there are still many opportunities that can be explored to potentially bring more revenue and visitors to Canton. A movie theater. I hear this all the time, and I totally believe a movie theater would be successful in Canton. Unfortunately, the city itself cannot finance a theater, nor should it. But doing everything possible to make an investor want to come to Canton is something that I support and will continue to work with any group that is interested. Expanding events that we already have. We've built some great relationships over the last few years and seen events such as the Taste of Canton, Art on Main, the Canton Cruise-In grow. Speaking with the resident, he had the idea of making the Canton Cruise-In, which is already an awesome event, into a 2 or even a 3-day event. These type of events have been successful in other areas, and I see no reason why they can't work in Canton, or at the very least explore the idea. It's ideas like these, not necessarily these ideas, but outside the box thinking, that is what I believe we need to move forward the future of the city of Canton. These ideas can't always be expected to come from elected officials, which is why it's so important to be open to ideas that are not our own. I can promise as an alderman, I'm always willing to listen and discuss ideas that have the potential to move the city forward. So please vote April 4th. Thank you.
Moving on now to our final race that we'll look at tonight for mayor of Canton. 3 candidates are running. All 3 are here tonight. We'll hear first from Jeff Fritz.
Welcome and thank you for coming out this evening. Again, my name is Jeff Fritz. It has been my distinct honor and pleasure to serve as your mayor for the last 4 years. I look forward to serving as your mayor for several years to come. A little bit about me. I have over 40 years in public service, including 32 years leadership experience. I'm a respected community leader in Canton, having serving on city council since 2011. Public service is a public trust, and I have and continually cultivate that trust through my core service values. The S is for sincere. I have shown in the past years I am real, genuine, and authentic. The E is for experience. I'm the only mayoral candidate with Canton City government experience, having 6 years. 4 years as your mayor, and prior to that, 2 years serving on Canton City Council as alderman of Ward 2. R is for responsiveness, including keeping commitments, delivering on promises. V is value. I listen to and understand the needs of the stakeholders and employees, appreciate the diversity, and treat them courteously and with respect. I is for integrity. Honesty and integrity are the foundation of my leadership. I have unquestionable character and credibility. C is for community. I am committed to this community, having and promoting a service-oriented and customer-friendly philosophy. And E is for excellence, always striving for the highest quality and continuous improvement with passion and pride. Together, we have made several accomplishments over the past 4 years, including over $16 million in economic development through renovations, expansions, and new businesses. And we remarkably handled the remarkable handling of, I should say, and recovery from the recent gas explosion. My vision is to continue to build on those successes and move Canton forward through my forward initiatives of fiscal sustainability, open government, restructuring operations, working with the local businesses, attracting new industries, revitalizing neighborhoods, and delivering quality services. Unfortunately, due to limited time here this evening, I cannot elaborate more fully on this. So what I have done to provide you another opportunity to learn more about my experiences, my accomplishments, and my platform, I am hosting a town hall meeting on Saturday, April 1st from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock a.m. at the American Grill banquet room. I asked for your support and your continued trust and support on April 4th by re-electing me to a second term as your mayor. Thank you.
Also for Mayor of Canton, Kent McDowell.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the American Pest Control for sponsoring this, the Chamber, WBYS, the Farm Bureau, and the citizens for coming out and taking an interest in what goes on in your community. My name's Kent McDowell. I grew up here in Canton, and I graduated from Canton High School in 1974. My wife, Kathy, and I were married in 1976. That's 40 years. So we've been married. I'm a member of Trinity Lutheran Church here in Canton. We have 3 children, and John is a police officer in Sangamon County. My daughter, Allison, who's a homemaker, and my son, Ian, who's an Afghan war vet and also a police officer in City of Peoria. I say that because Chris, you kind of, I had a speech kind of lined up, and Chris kind of took me in another direction, you know. So I'm just going to stand up here and talk to you from my heart, because my heart's in Canton, and it's great to see that Chris and young professionals come back, and but that doesn't happen very often. It doesn't happen very often because really we're at a crossroads now. What do we have to offer young people? You know, so many people in this campaign have come to me and said, what can you do to bring jobs back to Canton? Good paying jobs, jobs that can raise families, jobs that can keep families here. You know, that's what's important, and that's what's important to me. And to hear Chris say something like that he had the opportunity to come or go and decide to come back, means a lot. It means a lot to me, because it doesn't happen very often. Because you look at what's going on in the world today, and I think Angie brought it up too, with Caterpillar and Peoria. Everybody is going through the tough times. So it takes a leader, a person who's here constantly, a person who wants to fight and be aggressive and be assertive and go out and seek businesses and not sit back and have businesses come to us. You know, Missy does a great job, the partnership does a great job, but she needs a partner in that partnership. The mayor has to carry the banner and has to lead forward, to go out and reach out to these companies and reach out to organizations to come to Canton. We have a great deal to offer. Canton changed drastically since I was a child, drastically. But the one thing that stays consistent is the people. Thank you. I appreciate your vote. I hope that you go vote more than anything else. I want your vote, but I want you to go vote, because there are a lot of men and women that died for that honor and privilege.
And for Mayor of Canton, Leeson Fahrenbrook.
Well, I won't be as loud as Kent, I know that. Good evening. I'm Lisa Fahrenbrook, and I'm running for Mayor of Canton. My husband Tony and I live on the east side of town with our dog Rossi. Canton's my home. I was born here and raised here by my parents, Vicki and the late Roger Daly. Tony and I are proud small business owners of Track Equipment in Canton Enterprise Park. I've also served as Director of Quality Assurance of Fulton County Emergency Medical Association for the past 20 years. I've been a licensed paramedic for 25 years, and I have over 30 years of leadership experience across all the organizations that I've worked. Being a proud mother of 3 amazing kids and 6 beautiful grandchildren, I place great value on family. My family and I have deep roots here and are clearly a family committed to Canton. And I'm running for mayor because I love Canton. Canton's a great place to work and live. It's a great place to own a business and raise a family. But without some changes, we run the risk of losing some of the things we value about our great city. We need a mayor who doesn't have a personal agenda. Mayor Fritz said he didn't have a personal agenda, but his history says he does. And Kent McDowell, he has one too. For me, it's not about me, it's about the people. We need a mayor for the people, and we need a mayor that will bring transparency and accountability to the office, and I'll do just that. As mayor, I'll continue to be an advocate for small businesses in our community, As mayor, I'll take action to grow young careers from within Canton. I'll work to ensure that we are a business-friendly city and to continue the effective and efficient delivery of city services and improvement of our infrastructure. I will work to help ease the burden of many seniors in our city who struggle to make ends meet. To do these things, the city finances must be fixed. We must balance the budget, put money in reserves, and bring new homes and businesses to Canton and onto our tax rolls. My agenda is not personal. Again, for me, it's not about me. It's about the people. I want to make Canton stronger. What happened after the explosion, that wasn't an anomaly. That's who we are. That's how we come together. Everyone who lives here is important. Everyone deserves an equal voice. I'll be that voice because I'll be present, I'll be available to you, and I will listen to you. I will give you opportunities to participate. I will speak for you when you can't. As my campaign slogan says, I'm running for mayor to bring change for the right reasons, and that's why I'm asking for your vote on April 4th. Thank you.
We'll now begin the question and answer portion of the program. As explained earlier, the questions were put together by Farm Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, local media, and unbiased out-of-the-area persons in the education field. I'll ask the questions, and the candidates will speak in the opposite order of which their names appear on the ballot. The topic of some questions may have already been addressed during the candidates' 3-minute presentations. If that's the case, it will provide an opportunity for them to further elaborate on the topic if they so choose. Again, the candidates are not required to respond to a question if they do not wish to. Since more than one question will be asked of the candidates for a particular office, the order of responses will be alternated for the second question and all subsequent questions. Responses to questions will be limited to 1 minute, and candidates may ask to have a question repeated. The first office we'll look at will be the Spoon River College Board. Would those candidates who are here tonight please come to the front of the hall? The first question is, what unique qualities do you or would you bring to the SRC board? Kevin Mead?
Thanks, Kevin. Well, I think I addressed a little bit of this. It's just by diversity of background. I mean, I've spent 31 years in education with Pearson. I currently work for Cook Medical. My political experience, 24 years in city government on finances. I've seen pretty much all that there is to see, and I know one of the challenges that we have on every school board, city government, college board, all of it is finances. And we all are trying to live with less money. And how do you be creative in doing that? I think I've got a strong record of being able to be creative with less money, and I understand the tax situation that we all face. So I think that variety of experience, being a graduate of Spoon River, understanding that, serving the foundation board, I think all that brings it together to sort of have a unique perspective on what the college is facing.
Reynold Bleem?
Well, in general, I would say just the life experience that I've had, the things that I've seen. Interestingly enough, I am dyslexic, and I tend to look at things from a different angle than most people. I can take a 20,000-foot view, and most people are, right here with everything, and be able to look at that big picture. I'm really good at problem solving, and again, I'm new at this, so I'm going to be on a pretty fast learning curve with this whole process. Thank you.
Dave McGuire.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've had experience serving on the board for many years and served as the chairman. I've spent time also attending sessions of education that are provided for leaders in education, and that's been a good opportunity to bring items back to the Board of Trustees. And finally, in my private business, where back home for 28 years, I ran student residential housing, so you get a perspective of dealing with students on a daily basis, and that's a lot of the people that we serve, and you understand a lot from when you deal with them on a daily basis. That's a few of the many things that I could bring to the board. Thank you.
And Jerry Kramer.
I'll echo the other candidates as well. My experience throughout my adult life serving on other boards has taught me, how to look forward, how to deal with other people. Mostly in McDonough County, of course. I've had an opportunity to serve on the Spoon River Foundation Board, so I've kind of got some feel for what goes on over here as well. We'd like to continue that as a trustee. Thank you.
The next question, what do you believe is the primary role of SRC? To provide job training and workforce development, to prepare students for a four-year school, or perhaps other roles? Reynolds Bleem?
Well, that's the great thing about SRC. It's obviously can be used for anything available there. Personally, I think in the United States we don't build stuff like we used to anymore. So getting those, industrial education jobs, really working on that, promoting that. So kids can come out, they have a skill, they know how to do things. Because with any college, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create taxpayers. Nobody likes paying taxes, but whenever there isn't enough people working, they're not paying taxes. So that's really a big thing. We have to create tax-paying citizens. Thank you.
Dave McGuire.
I can think of 5 areas that the college needs to be involved in. And one we call the traditional transfer student who's going to go on and get their 4-year degrees. So we give them that basis of a 2-year education. We have the career and technical education, which is so important, whether it be the welding program, whether it be the diesel mechanic, whether it be our nursing program. That's the secondary area. Certificate programs for those people who need to have specialized training in an area, whether it be network administration, many of those. 4th area would be those people who just need to come back, tune up their skills. And finally, for those of us who are getting older, that lifelong learning for those plus 50, that we have that opportunity for people to learn.
Jerry Kramer.
Education has become, or higher education has become a very expensive prospect now, and I think with 2-year colleges, it gives a lot of more students a chance to get involved and get more education and move on to a 4-year college. But we've heard a lot of talk tonight about job loss and that kind of thing, so we also need to create some new learning skills for the adults as well, so they can stay in the communities and continue to function and be prosperous.
And Kevin Mead.
Well, I think the other gentleman hit it pretty well, but as I said in another candidate forum, I think the main role of the college is to be flexible. We've got to be able to use different skills that we have. For example, whether it's locomotive engines, we're one of only 2 programs in the country that teach students how to repair locomotives. That's a new program, whether it's working with Cook when they came in to do the workforce. We're always looking at different ways to reinvent Spoon River College. So the college is that entity which sort of has its own mission that changes on a daily basis almost, and flexibility is the most important thing. So in addition to what David said, those 5 areas are certainly, that's the area, but what's next? That's what we always have to be looking out for. What is next? How do we remain viable? And how do we remain an economic engine to help the communities we serve with their economic growth as well?
The next question, community colleges must balance not having a state budget, but at the same time keeping education affordable. How can that be done, and can it be done? Dave McGuire?
Oh, that's not an easy question. When community colleges were established, the idea was that 1/3 local, 1/3 the state, and 1/3 tuition. And now, where we are at, 1/3 still stays with the local community support, but the student tuition has increased as the state has dropped its support, and now less than 8% of the budget is paid for by the state of Illinois. So what we have to do is be creative in the way we staff, creative in the way we provide education at a lower cost. And I can say right now, we've been fortunate that we've been able to do more with little, and now we're going to have to figure out how to do anything with nothing at all.
Jerry Kramer?
Well, I not being on the inside, it looks to me like the Board of Trustees is doing an excellent job now. There's been some growth. We need to continue to do that. We know we have to live within our own means, so there has been some cutbacks, and I think that'll probably continue with 2-year and 4-year colleges as well in the state of Illinois, so we'll have to learn to live within our budget, I believe.
Kevin Mead.
I told Dave at another forum when he mentioned this about the state is down to 8%, I said, well, look at the positive side. There's not much less they can cut. So we're about down to the bottom of the barrel. But that is the trick, is how do you live with that? And the college has done a great job already in those reduced amounts they're having. And then literally there isn't much else the state can cut. But no, we can't survive without that kind of support. None of us, whether it's the city, whether it's the county, the school district, they need state revenues. That's why we pay taxes for. So I think part of that is going to be, how do we survive? And I think they hit it on the head. You've got to be lean, and you've got to make those cuts where it's important. But again, focus those programs that are bringing students in rather than those that are well attended.
And Ronald Bleem.
Well, I'd echo everything that they have said, but it's like anything. If we can get the teacher buy-in from the high schools they'll actually help to direct children, kids, graduates in order to utilize local community colleges. With any business, with any town, towns want more business to create more tax dollars, to buy more things, to build more things. Community college is going to be the same way. We have to get the people to utilize it more effectively, and with any budgetary things, I'm going to be on a pretty fast learning curve with that too, but you got to get more butts in the seats, and that'll increase our programs and also increase the ability for the college to grow itself. Thank you.
Our final question, and along the same lines, what cuts, if any, should be made to the SRC budget if the state's financial situation worsens? We'll begin with Jerry Kramer.
Well, I would hope that no cuts need to be made. Again, not being involved in the process, I really don't know what I would cut. I'd have to study the budget and rely on the other experts to decide that, but my ultimate goal would be not to cut anything.
Kevin Mead.
Well, I agree with Jerry. Until you sit down and look at the budget and have an intimate knowledge of it, it's difficult to stand up there and say, well, I would cut this line or this line, because we don't have, Dave can give a great answer, and I'm anticipating that. So, but I think that's what you have to do, is you look at what programs are successful, what aren't. And let's face it, we have a lot of community colleges out there across the state in the same position the Spoon River is in. There are a lot of smart people out there looking at these budgets. We're not the only one facing the problem. I think collectively we look at what the answers will be. So I have nothing specific until I would see the budget itself.
Reynold Bleem.
As before, you have to pick through the budget, and I'm going to defer to this man.
Dave McGuire.
There is a disadvantaged opinion incumbent. It's not what we're going to do, it's what we are currently doing. And we examine every program, we examine every position, we examine everything that comes up when the college goes through and evaluates the budget on a daily basis. And that's why there's 11 less positions at the college than there were in 2007. That's why our total cost in the budget is almost the same across the board. And so when I can't come and say this is what we're going to cut. We're going to be looking at alternatives. How can we provide it without cutting the positions? And whether it be through matriculation or whatever happens, that's what has to happen. And it ultimately goes down to how can we deliver the services to the students we need to meet a need to. So.
And those are the four candidates here tonight for Spoon River College Board: Dave McGuire, Jerry Kramer, Kevin Mead, and Reynold Bleem. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thanks. The next office we'll examine will be the Canton Union School District Board of Education. Will those candidates who are here tonight please come forward? Tom Snowman and Lori Coleman. The first question is, what do you see as the top education concerns in the Canton School District? Tom?
Well, I think it's like with everything dealing with schools, it's the finances. We need money. We need that to keep all of our programs going. And I think that we've been working on this for the last few years. We're not broke yet. We've managed to keep our staff going. We've managed to keep our programs going. And we're still adding some things because we want to meet the needs of all of our kids.
Well, I think we've heard a theme about finance. But I will tell you that at the present time, about 80% of the jobs that are going to be coming in the future, we don't know what those are yet. We don't know what it looks like, how it's going to change. And so that's really important that we get that 21st education for these kids because they are going to be global members. It's not just going to be our community. It's not just going to be our state. It's going to be global. So we've got to really be forward thinkers, listen to our think tank of human beings that are in this world that we live in so we can provide those kids with that opportunity.
Next question. Public schools are the ties that bind our society and guide the nation's future. In your personal and/or professional life, what has prepared you to advance this mission in Canton? Lori?
That's a big question. Well, like I said before, I was raised here. I set my sights to become a nurse. I was fortunate enough to have a fantastic chemistry teacher who helped me to get through my college years. I knew that I wanted to come back. I knew I wanted to raise my kids here. And so I guess my passion to do that and be fortunate enough to have gotten a scholarship that was given to people in the community who felt that it was important for our youth to come back. That's something that is important to me. My kids came back, and I want to see others do so we can move forward as a community.
Could you repeat that for me?
Sure. Public schools are the ties that bind our society and guide the nation's future. In your personal and/or professional life, what has prepared you to advance this mission in Canton?
Well, my personal life, I've been interested in a lot of different things. I started out to be a commercial artist. I grew up on Western's campus in the lab school, and I was exposed to all types of education there. I feel that one of the things that I can help students with is prepare them for careers. I'm very interested in vocational areas, not only college education. And I've lived in Canton now for about 60-some years. And I've worked with a number of kids, and I think I know some of the things that we need to work on to meet those needs.
Next question. What do you feel is the role of a school board member in relation to the entire school district organization? In other words, what is the job of a school board member? Is it governance, management, or both? Tom?
Well, our main job is to hire a good superintendent, which I think we just recently did. He has the board really fired up, and I think we're ready to move ahead and become one of the top districts. We really are more to deal with policy and more or less to be a sounding board and to back the superintendent and listen to the community and try to meet the community needs through our committees and that type of thing.
I did address this a little bit in my earlier talk. I will say that I am a nurse. I am not a teacher. I am not an administrator. My job is to hire the superintendent. My job is to support the administration. My job is to listen to the community, but I also know that I am one person on a board of 7. Do we always agree? No. But we are able to listen to each other, come up with ideas, and come out with what is best for students, because that's what our job is. Our job is to provide what is best for students.
And the final question, what action should be taken by the school board if the state's financial situation becomes even more critical than it is now? Lori?
If I had an answer for how to take finances, I would be doing something different. I will say that in 2010, it showed that Illinois was the lowest in state finance funding for education. Most states fund at 43%. Illinois is supposed to fund at 23%. And as of to date, we have gotten no category payments. We have vouchers, which are as good as a piece of paper. But my goal would be that we don't want to stop services. We have to figure out a way to, through attrition, to continue, and again, our best foot forward for all students. And that's not hopefully cutting any personnel. So that's what we're looking at.
Okay. As you mentioned, our finances, I think the state owes us almost $2 million right now. And we've been talking about what do we do to keep ourselves going. And we don't want to cut staff, but we do want to meet the needs of all of our students. And personally, I don't want to see us ever have to cut any complete programs. Because if you cut a program, that might be the only reason that student ever came to school that day, was for the band or the art class or the math program or that type of thing. So I think we're going to have to be very creative. I think we're going to have to work and write more grants, try to get more money from grants to help us. And it's going to be a tight thing for a little bit, but we've been preparing for this, and we're trying to be very creative. And that's what we're going to have to do, is do some creative thinking and come up with some answers to meet those needs.
Thank you. Two of the candidates for Canton School Board, Tom Snowman and Lori Coleman. We now turn our attention to the City of Canton races. Would the treasurer candidates please come to the front of the room? Does that help some in the back of the room hear a little bit better? Good. The first question is, how have you improved yourself over the past few years to enhance your qualifications to serve as city treasurer? Justin?
Over the past few years, how have I improved myself? Excuse me. My job that I work daily is financing for people, doing credit ratings or credit reports for them, reading their credit reports, see if they're qualified, and then also keeping our books for our business, determining whether or not we have the cash to buy the product we need to sell to our customers. So I'd say that's how I'd actually improve myself. Sorry.
I would say over the last few years, actually being in the treasurer's position, I've learned a great deal. Some things that I thought were true about government are not. And I feel like I've also learned a lot. I have learned to use some of my background to work with everyone, that the department heads and the mayor, in order to help us get things done as far as getting our finances at least organized and in order. So I feel like being in the office, I've gotten a great deal of experience, and am now am more comfortable, and I feel like we've done a good job. And I think our audit says that too, that we have done a great job and now we just need to move forward.
As treasurer, you know or will know the city's account balances. How do you or will you communicate to the mayor, aldermen, department heads, etc., a scenario where the account balances could affect programs and/or projects in the city? Crystal?
Of course, we have our monthly treasurer's report, but I do check balances. Wow. We do check balances frequently to know what we have, and as projects come about, usually those are discussed way ahead of time so we know. If there were to be a problem, of course, that would immediately be that information would go out to all of the aldermen and the mayor if there was a major issue. So that's basically how we would do that.
Justin? Sure. As treasurer, you know or will know the city's account balances. How do you or will you communicate to the mayor, aldermen, department heads, etc., a scenario where the account balances could affect programs and/or projects in the city?
Meeting agendas come out. We have a form that goes out before each section of it that tells us what the agenda item is, whether it's recommended to be approved or not by the department heads. The one thing that I would do to help that out is add an actual account balance that the fund is, that it's the whatever the purchase might be is coming out of. There's several times we sit in a council meeting and we ask an account balance, and it's, well, I'll have to get back to you on that. I don't know the current balance in that. We do have some other things coming out of that, but I don't know if this is there or not. That's the type of stuff that the city council needs to know before they make a vote. You can't tell them 30 seconds before they're supposed to vote, I don't know the balance of that account. That's been told so several times in the past 6 years that I've been sitting on the council, and it's something that's very important. The city council and the mayor need to know the account balances before they can vote. If they don't, their vote just basically could take you negatives in several accounts. So, all right, time's up, thanks.
Next question. How do you see the treasurer's office influencing, affecting, and/or providing input for the city's budget policies and controls? Or do you see the office not doing these things? Justin?
What was the first part of that? I'm sorry.
How do you see the treasurer's office influencing, affecting, and/or providing input for the city's budget policies and controls?
I see the office giving the input for the policies and controls by first being available and meeting with the department heads, make sure the department heads know, what their line item budgets are, what they have readily available to them, and going to them ahead of time also, so they know, or what they might be looking forward to, trying to purchase, make a purchase, hire somebody, and putting that in place. That's pretty much it for that. Sorry. Crystal?
Currently, I see or meet with the department heads on a very regular basis. Some of them I see almost every day. Many, I talk to them every day. So we also provide a monthly report. It's their budget comparison report after the treasurer's report is done when the month end is closed. The other thing is at any time I'm available, they can either call me or they come up to my desk and ask for what the current budget looks like in a particular account that they need to spend money out of. So that's always available. As far as input, as far as the controls with the city, the power of the purse, of course, lies with the council as they make their decisions. And but there are things that I can share that could be cost-saving measures. Something that I've already been doing is talking to the department heads about consolidating their procurements of supplies. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are the two candidates for Canton City Treasurer, Justin Nelson and Crystal Wilkinson. Would the Canton Alderman candidates come to the podium, please? Even though some of the Alderman candidates are not in a contested race, we're offering all of them the opportunity to answer questions as a group. The first question is, what is the most important problem facing Canton, and how do you plan to address it? John Lovell?
Well, I think that's easy. Obviously, our finances are a major concern. How do we address that? We got to look at ways to bring more revenue into the city, whether that be through attracting businesses or tourism, whatever it is, we have to get more revenue. And the one thing I think people need to probably understand is the opportunity of a magic bullet or some company coming here that's going to save the town is probably not going to happen. So we're going to have to take small steps and just kind of eat away at it.
Chris Jump.
I would agree with Alderman Lovell. It's absolutely our finances, but with that comes business development. We have to work together across the board, whether it's the city, whether it's our local business community, the civic organizations, whatever it is, to bring in the business. When we can bring in the business so we can expand our tax base, we have more people making money, more money coming into the community, more sales tax revenue, and a lot of those things come in together. So I think pushing business development and creating jobs is our ultimate big concern we have to address right now. You see that across, we just lost a major retailer. So all of these things come into play together, but ultimately will affect our finances. So I think that bringing everybody together is the ultimate thing to address our finances and the business environment in Canton.
Ed Patton.
Well, I believe that we need to try to draw good companies and people into the community to help booster our economy, and that it's not going to be an easy job because there's a lot of people out there trying to get other businesses and things as well from other cities. But we need to work together as a group and try our best to get these organizations and the businesses to want to come to Canton.
George Hall.
Well, everybody's talking about finances, and that's the same problem in the city that we have in the county also. The other thing is that in order to have an industry come in, you have to have a skilled workforce. So that's one of the things that Spoon River College hopefully is working on. You also have to have a low-cost workforce, and you also have to have utilities. And my experience in public works, which is a large share of the City of Canton's budget, I would like to look at that, see if we can't make some cuts there and fine-tune that particular operation. And it's a big task that we have before us. The other thing, in economic development, we keep giving away grants. I think that we should look and recognize that there will be small businesses, and we should build the buildings for them and maintain ownership in the county, in the city. And then that way, when the business, if it would have a place to operate, and if it would fail, then we would still own the asset.
Angie Lingenfelder.
I previously addressed some of these issues in my speech, but I believe that we need to, finances are a huge issue that we have to work really hard to overcome. We're going to have to work with economic development, work as a team with our community, with our city council, be open to all kinds of suggestions. Peoria's having the issue with losing Caterpillar. Now we've lost JCPenney, so we're going to have to get out there and basically beat the bush and work really hard to come up with any kind of suggestions and work with the community on this topic.
Next question, what are the biggest challenges in your ward that may not be the same challenges elsewhere in the city? And how do you approach those challenges? Chris?
I think one of the largest issues facing my ward, but to be honest, I think it actually probably does face a lot of the other wards as well, as residential housing in the City of Canton. I don't know if anybody in here knows the statistics on that, but if anybody knows how many new homes were built in Canton last year, the number is 0. And how many new homes were built the 2 years collectively before that, the number is 4. So those numbers are scary, and we have to be developing housing and providing everybody a good place to live in our community, and that's certainly, I think, an issue that's facing my ward, to make sure that people are finding affordable, quality housing. So.
Ed Patton?
Well, the things that I believe in our area that really need to be looked after would be the sidewalk area, especially for the students who are around the Lincoln School area. We're working with trying to get some program set up there where we may be able to get some financing for that to help alleviate some of the problems there. But there's also watershed problems, and those are some of the things out there that need to be addressed.
George Hall.
Well, in my ward, I've been walking the ward, and one of the biggest things that surprises me is the amount of people that are living on fixed incomes. So one of the best things that we could do in my ward would be hold the line on taxes and not increase taxes or water rates or sewer rates. Thank you.
Angie Lingenfelder.
I also agree with George that I don't believe we should try to limit our property taxes, and also we have a lot of abandoned buildings. We need to try to work on either enforcing some building codes or getting the owners to get their buildings up to code.
And John Lovell.
I would say in Ward 4, I would probably agree with Mr. Patton. Sidewalks are an issue that could be improved in our ward. Fifth Avenue, Lynn Street, those seem to be some areas that people that walk, and the sidewalks just aren't very good. So I would like to see the sidewalks in Ward 4 improved a little bit.
The next question, is the city on the right track regarding economic development? Ed?
Well, that I'm not sure of. I'm kind of just getting into this program of trying to run for office. Some of the things I've read from the paper and from being involved with the watching the city council and things, I think we're starting to move forward again, and I think this is good. Whether we're actually on the right track, I'm not sure, but I'm willing to listen to the constituents of our area and ask for their input. So if I'm elected, I would be sure and listen to you, and hopefully we can get something to progress forward.
George?
Well, like I said before, I think we need some small businesses and in some cases individual businesses. The present installation of high-speed internet in this city will make a lot of job opportunities for people that want to do business on the internet. And That's one of the best things that's happened to this city. And if you want to look at another city that really used this to their advantage, read about Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the industry that moved there for those kinds of facilities. Thank you.
Angie?
I think we're moving forward, and I think there's a lot more that we can do. And if I'm voted into City Council, I'll be working with everyone to strive to improve economic development and progress.
John?
Well, I guess the first thing would be, how do you quantify moving forward with economic development? As the mayor said earlier, we've had $16 million in economic development over the last 4 years. I think that sounds pretty good. We've seen some new businesses open. I consider that progress. Can we do better? Yes. Do we need more? Yes. But to answer the question, I do think we're moving forward, and I would just like to continue to be part of growing even more.
And Chris?
I've had the honor over the last couple of years to serve on the Spoon River Partnership for Economic Development. I can say that my answer to that is yes. We have some hiccups along the road. We've seen those, but thanks to that table sitting back there with Missy, Amanda, Dana, and Kara, we are moving forward. There are a lot of projects going on. We've seen millions of dollars of investment in the community. We've seen RP Lumber that just came to Canton. We've seen Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts is about ready to open. There's lots of different things still happening, and I think we are moving forward. But what's important that in order for us to keep moving forward is that we have the support of the council to work with developers and others to make it easier to draw on those businesses so we can continue down that track. And overall, just again, to echo what I said earlier, collaboration. We have to bring everybody to the table, the taxing bodies, if it's in a TIF district or whatever it may be, to make sure that we're best able to bring more economic growth than we currently have.
And the final question for the alderman candidates. In Canton, more attention needs to be paid to, you complete the sentence or thought. Chris? I'll repeat the question. In Canton, more attention needs to be paid to. You got it?
No, I just missed the last part. No. Well, again, I'm going to go back to, I think it was the residential housing, obviously, and back to the finances again. We need to be very careful, I think, as we focus on our budgets about how we're moving money from fund to fund. And I understand part of that may be municipal budgeting in part, but what we're losing out on is we're taking money from our depreciation funds, we're taking money from other groups where we have an outdated fleet in our police department and fire department, and there's no money there in case something happens. So what's important is to make sure we're continuing to put money back into those funds and to focus on saving. That's where it comes down to, is the attention is focus on saving. Because if something catastrophic happened right now, we're in a lot of trouble. And if we had to take out debt to do it, it's going to be on the shoulder of the next generation to pay off down the road. So I think what's important is that we're putting the money aside and focusing all of our attention on our finances.
John?
I would say what we need to focus on is the citizens and I don't want to say, I would say getting their input and educating them on what's going on, what we're doing, because it can be frustrating to see when you feel like the rates are going up for no reason, if people feel that way, when that's not necessarily the case. I mean, if we raise rates, there's a reason for it. Maybe it's to save money in the long run. I mean, take water, for instance, or garbage. If we raise the rates, maybe a little bit, that's to save us from having to outsource or privatize that down the road. So just focusing on citizen education and just them knowing the reason that the decisions that we make and why we make them.
Angie?
I think we have to be very careful caretakers of our budget and oversee all aspects of the budget, because everyone is on a very tight budget, including the City of Canton, and everything that we do, we need to communicate it and have a good line of communication with the citizens of Canton.
George?
Well, it gets back to finances again, your personal finances, and I disagree a little bit with Chris. The reason we have had, or one of the reasons we have not had housing built in Canton is because of the tax rate. People are building outside of Canton, just outside of the city limits, so that they can get the utilities of water and sewer, but not pay the taxes. So we have no developments because we really don't have that much demand for newer houses that cost $300,000. Okay, thank you.
And Ed?
Well, I feel like that we need to keep the line of communication open between all of us so that we can all work together to build a better community and to watch our budget so that we do not go over what we have available. All of us live on a budget, and so I feel like that we need to try to stay within that balance.
Thank you. Those are the 5 candidates here tonight for Canton Alderman: Ed Patton, George Hall, Angie Lingenfelder, John Lovell, and Chris Jump. As we close out the question and answer segment tonight, would the candidates for Mayor of Canton please come forward? While they're making their way here, we'll let you know we're going to conduct a Canton Mayoral Candidates Roundtable Forum in the coming days. It will be an event closed to the public, but will be videotaped for playback on Canton Cable Channel 22 on Monday, April 3rd. The questions there will be asked by a panel of local media. The event is designed to allow the mayoral candidates more time to express their views on a variety of topics of importance to the city and its citizens. Our first question tonight for the mayor candidates: budget matters are a concern for the city. What's your plan for managing them? Lisa Fernbrook.
My plan for managing them, first of all, I think I would need to go in and evaluate. Unfortunately, the budget will be set by the time, if Mayor Fritz isn't elected, it will be for the next mayor to take care of. I think everybody said it. We all live within a budget in our personal lives. We have to do the same thing in a city. We can't keep raising taxes on everyone. We have elderly that can't afford it. I mean, my mother's one of them. So we just need to cut where we need to cut and watch our budget.
Kent McDowell.
I think the most important thing, I'm not screaming now, I hope. It's the football coach coming out. The most important thing is working with the council, working with the department heads, and being able to sit down and prioritize our budget. I'm telling you what, this is a hill we're going to have to climb, and it's not a pretty hill. And the most important thing, you don't want to cut services. In my opinion, that's the very last thing that we want to cut. Government is responsible for public safety, good roads, good water, garbage pickup, and those things they have to be paramount. And everything else is a commodity. But those things have to be paramount to draw new business and new people into the community. So we have to strongly work together and prioritize with the department heads and the council. And everybody's got to put their feet to the fire. I mean, we all have to be responsible for that. Thank you.
Jeff Fritz.
You know, first I do want to agree with Kent that you don't want to cut services, you don't want to penalize the residents. It's not their fault. this is happening or these things are happening. But the big key is we have to make sure revenues exceed expenditures. And so we have to stay on top of things. And a couple ways we do that is both we have checks and balances. We have our treasurer internally. We contracted a couple of years ago Clifton Larson Allen to do our comptroller duties from the outside. I think it's formed a great relationship for the city, and we have found out things that way, as the audit has shown. The other thing is internally, we do have, as Crystal mentioned earlier, our treasurer, we do have comparison reports done that go back to department heads, and we meet with them regularly with those comparison reports, seeing what can be done and what cannot be done. But again, we have to become more cost effective in what we do and fiscally responsible, and so that we keep the revenues above our expenditures.
Economic development activities are ongoing in the city and the region. What more needs to be done, in your opinion? Kent?
The most important thing with economic development is you've got to make yourself, we've got a lot of competition out there. And like I said, if I had some of East Peoria or Washington's magic dust that they can spread around and how they draw businesses like, flies to honey, that would be great, but that's not the real world. I mean, again, in the area that we live in, or the highway structure that we have or don't have, you've got to be inventive, you've got to go out and be aggressive and be assertive and get people to look at you first. And to get people to look at you, then you've got to give them a reason to come to Canton. I've talked to people that wanted to do some things in Canton, but they were so restricted that they just felt that they would rather move on. And I think George was one that said that a lot of people are now going to the county because of less restrictions and less taxes. Those are things that we have to look at, and we have to be competitive. I don't think that we've been competitive for a while, and we need to be that way. And especially right now, losing a major retailer like that, we have to become more competitive.
Jeff? Thank you. Yeah, we have to, with economic development, there's a few things we have to look at here. One is we do have some challenges with the infrastructure. We only have 2-lane roadways coming into Canton. That does, where Kent talks about Washington and Morton, they do have 4-lane highways going into those areas, so it does help them out. But make no mistake, they're having issues today too. East Peoria is having problems. They just doubled their water rates not too long ago because of issues going on there. They're finding out their levy district is not doing as well as when they brought in Bass Pro Shops and things. So you do have to do things. And my thing is, you got to partner and you got to work together. We have a trusted partnership with the Spoon River Partnership for Economic Development. Pennies went out. We heard about that. The first day we heard about that, Missy and I were in contact with each other. We're talking to each other already. We also have meetings with other municipalities. We have a monthly meeting with Macomb, with their economic development people and their mayor, because we are similar communities and we're trying to work out what we can for both of us or for both communities. Help out.
And Lisa.
Well, first of all, I think we need to support the businesses that we have here. I'm a strong supporter of the small business that we already have in Canton. Do a lot of shopping up here. Secondly, I think as far as economic development, you need to identify the problem. So some people say we need more jobs, when in actuality the problem may be infrastructure, as they were saying. So I think we work with a partnership. We work at the state level, we work wherever we need to work, and we see what the magic dust is that other cities have, and we use it for ourselves. Thank you.
What's your position on tax increment financing as a tool to help spur economic development? Jeff?
I think that TIF for spurring development is an excellent tool. It does help out to draw businesses in that you may not otherwise get, because they can get either grants up front to do things, or they can get rebates, reimbursements throughout the program or throughout over a certain period of time. The thing we have to be cautious with, I think in the past we've given up too much money up front to Some businesses have come in, which has hurt our, when I say hurt our TIF funds, it's limited us to what we could do in the future. I think TIF is good, but we need to do it on a rebate type program. In other words, they come in, they build, and we're rebating part of their taxes back over a period of time, as long as they meet certain conditions. That is, keep up a certain EAV, as well as bringing in a certain number of jobs and maintaining those jobs. Lisa.
I mean, I think TIF's a great thing. I mean, I think we have to be careful with it, obviously. Watch how the money's spent. I think a lot of it's supposed to be spent on infrastructure, on, you know, sewers and water, so the bigger businesses come in. I don't know how that's really been done in the past. So I think it's a great tool. I think it's just a tool, just one of the many that we have to work with.
Kent.
Well, obviously, I agree with my two opponents that, you know, TIF is an important and a valuable tool. I think it's been around since 1977 or so in the state of Illinois, and it's been utilized in many other communities to pull people out of the fire. But it's to be used in blighted areas and other areas that are that just tough to get people into. I think sometimes there's been areas, I believe, that we've been over-TIF'd in Canton, and I think that when you do that to yourself, then you kind of take the wind out of the sails of the TIF. But I agree that you need to use the money and make sure the money is in condition that was just paid back, and give it to when you're using TIF money to an entity, you want to make sure that you get some asset out of that in case the entity, fails to meet the obligations. I don't think we've done that in the past.
Next question. Infrastructure in the city needs to be constantly maintained and improved. How do we do that in a tough economic environment? Lisa?
Well, I mean, I think that has to be a priority. I think if I ask anybody out here what's the most important city service that you get for your tax bill, I think you'd all say it's to turn on your water and be able to drink it, be able to drive to the grocery store, be able to flush your toilet. Most people don't think they will need the other things. So I think we have to do whatever we have to do to maintain our infrastructure. There's no other choice. If we don't have it, we don't have a city. Thank you.
Kent?
Read it to me again, Kevin, please.
Infrastructure in the city needs to be constantly maintained and improved. How do we do that in a tough economic environment?
Well, first and foremost, being, an ex-city employee, especially working third shift at night, and see some of these city guys out in the middle of the night fixing these broken mains, which happens, it doesn't happen in 70-degree weather normally. And we've got a great group of employees that work hard to keep maintaining the infrastructure. I would like to see us seek out more grant money. I know that the state's going to be probably nil or zero help, but there's some federal grant money out there to help bolster economically our infrastructure as it gets older, and also to try to develop some of these new areas and residential areas. We can also tell the contractors and the developers that you're going to help kick in and help us with the infrastructure, with the roads and the sewers, things.
Jeff?
Well, asking the developers to kick in, I think it's kind of contradictory, because that's why we were just told a little while ago they're not building in the city, is because of the costs, the high costs of taxes and infrastructure, things like that. But I'm going to tell you, we're already doing things. We're already taking measures for infrastructure. The last 2 budget years, we have been able to put into system maintenance accounts, into the water account, into the wastewater accounts, $100,000 each for future improvements of infrastructure. So that's something we're doing already. The second thing is, and I realize this is not necessarily just, we're talking about infrastructure that way, but also I heard comments earlier about sidewalks. We've also been improving and fixing sidewalks using video gaming funds, not taxpayers' money. And to date, there's been over 5,300 feet of sidewalks taken care of by our city crews. And I heard about stuff having to be done by Lincoln School. We're researching that right now, what we can do. So there's many things we already got in place and are doing. Thank you.
And a final question for the mayoral candidates. Where do you see the city in 5 years? Kent?
Well, if you look now, the way things are going economically, it's probably a dim view of where we're going to be in 5 years if this trend continues, especially with the state haggling constantly with the budget. I personally, I believe with the strength that we have in the city, with the people, I can't see us laying down. I mean, we recouped after the 75 tornado. You know, we've come back after the explosion. We had a major fire uptown. We've always been very resilient, and I think this community will continue to be resilient. And I think our future's bright. But we have to put our nose to the grindstone. We have to work together, and we have to work hard. And we have to look for new ways and different ways to go out and find economic development, infrastructure, residential areas, all the things that we've been talking about today. The issues are always the same, but sometimes the solutions are different depending upon the time and the place. And the time and the place is now, and we have to get after it because we're, like I said, we're at a crossroads.
Jeff?
You know, collectively, all the alderman candidates said they feel we're moving forward. And I have to agree. I think part of that has to do with the collective, the working together, the trust relationships between our Canton Area Chamber of Commerce, our Spoon River Partnership for Economic Development, the community here. We have trust relationships. And I see the city in the future being the choice the place to live, work, and play in Central Illinois, being one of the top choices because of that. But as it was mentioned by Kent, is that we are a resilient community and that we will move on, we'll move forward after this explosion and things, and we've already made great strides that way. I think you've seen that. I think one of the things that will be beneficial is keeping things consistent. One of the things that's happened in the past is we've had mayoral changes, alderman changes many times. You got to keep it consistent, move with what's working, and keep moving forward. And that is my campaign slogan.
And Lisa?
Well, I think we'll still be strong in 5 years. We'll still be Canton. I think to do that, I think something that's been missing is to have people participate, whether it be the small businesses forming a committee so that they have a voice, so that they can help. What are their ideas for economic development? What do they need from the city to grow and be better? Town hall meetings, I found it interesting that Mayor Fritz said he was having one recently. That's been a part of my campaign the whole time. To hold frequent town hall meetings, you all have ideas. It's not one person, it's not one alderman, it's everyone. So I think in 5 years we'll be doing okay.
Thank you. Those are the three candidates for Mayor of Canton: Kent McDowell, Jeff Fritz, and Lisa Fehrenbrook. That concludes the question and answer portion of the forum. As usual, an election, such as a consolidated election, involves many races and ballot styles, and we've asked Fulton County Clerk Jim Nelson to take a minute to sort it all out for us.
I'm getting through to the coach. I'm doing suicide fishing. You got to be 69, 68.
Good. Pass that along.
Don't worry, I'll be very quick. Again, everybody, they thank the Chamber, the Farm Bureau, American Pest, the radio, the papers. But more importantly, I want to thank and congratulate every candidate that stood up here tonight and put their name on a ballot. Anybody can sit on the sideline. It takes nerve and guts to put your name on that petition and run for office. So give them all a big hand. Next, I'll say this every time I stand up here during these elections on odd years. It's the most important election you have. I could care less about the presidential race. I could care less about the governor's race. These folks affect your day-to-day life. The turnout will be pathetic. Let me just tell you so far, we've been voting for a month right now. The turnout so far is 0.78% in the county of 25,434 voters. 0.78. So if we have a good election, good turnout, it'll be 30%. And trust me, when they call me at the office and they complain about something, I've already got the screen up saying, sorry, Kevin, you didn't vote. You lost the right to, I'll say, complain. So seriously, this is the most important race you have. Look at your tax bill when it comes out on time in June. You'll all be happy about it. And look, you've got the city, you've got the county, you've got the ambulance, you've got the school board, you've got the college board, your township, everybody who's here tonight, they affect your day-to-day life. Grocery stores, church, restaurants, bars, you see them every day. You can call them, they'll talk to you. How many people talk to the people in Springfield or Washington? 0. Done. Off my soapbox. Voting, we have about 12 more days and the election's here. You can vote right now at the courthouse, 8 to 4. Anybody can vote, 8 to 4. Next Saturday, April 1st, we're open 8 to 2. Election day, as you all know, is April 4th. If you know anybody that's out of town, snowbirds, Arizona, Florida, they still have time to call my office. I'll send them an application that they sign. As soon as they get it back to me, a ballot goes in the mail. But do it tomorrow because I cannot, by law, send any in the mail after next Thursday. If it's postmarked by Election Day, I'll count it because the election is not over next Tuesday the 4th, or a week from Tuesday the 4th. There's 14 more days before the election's over. Any ballot in the mail, I have to count for 14 days. So April 18th is the last day of the election. I'll certify it on the 19th. So, any questions? You want to vote? Come on down to the courthouse 8 to 4 tomorrow, all next week or next Saturday. Vote by mail. Come on down. There's no such thing as absentee voting anymore. You either vote by mail, you early vote, or you vote at the polling place. Once again, any questions? Congratulations to all the people running. Again, thanks to the sponsors. Have a great night. Michigan got beat 69-68. Gonzaga's up by 6.
Sports and elections, good combination. That wraps things up for Meet the Candidates. We thank each of the 21 candidates for participating. We also thank the in-person radio and television audiences for being a part of it, and our sponsors, the Fulton County Farm Bureau Legislative Committee, the Canton Area Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee, and American Pest Control. You're reminded there are campaign materials in the back of the room to pick up and take with you. Refreshments are being served as well. And many of the candidates are sticking around to meet with those of you here at the Donaldson Center. As a reminder, a video recording of this event will be shown on a repeat basis for 24 hours on Channel 22 of the Canton, Cuba, and Lewistown cable TV systems, and it will play Monday, March 27th, that's this coming Monday, starting mid to late morning, and again on Monday, April 3rd, also with a mid to late morning start. And a reminder about the Canton Mayoral Candidate Roundtable that will also air on Channel 22 prior to April 4th. The times and dates of that are set, and it's going to be on Monday, April 3rd. And a recorded audio version of tonight's forum will air on WBYS AM 1560 and FM 93.7 mid to late afternoon on Monday, April 3rd. And the exact time of that will be announced closer to the time on WBYS. So, again, thanks for coming, everybody. Drive carefully on your way home, and as Jim Nelson said, exercise your right to vote. You've earned it, and the country has earned it for you to be able to do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. And you have been listening to the Meet the Candidates Forum for the election that will take place on Tuesday, April 4th, live from the Donaldson Community Center and the Canton Park District on South Avenue D. I'm Mark Bixler, News Director at AM 1560 WBYS. Helping bring you this event, Spoon River Animal Clinic, located on the north end of Canton, by Sedgwick Funeral Homes, located in Canton, Farmington, and Bartonville. Remax Traders Unlimited, Susie McMillan, your agent. Canton Wesley United Methodist Church, located on North Avenue A, by AM 1560 WBYS, your voice of Fulton County, and 93.7 FM, and M. Bixler Video Productions. Helping bring you this event, Monocle's Pizza, located on North 5th Avenue in Canton. In Canton, we deliver. The Bank of Farmington, in Canton and in Farmington. Stereo Village, located on South 4th Avenue in Canton. Lambs of God Daycare and Preschool, located on North Avenue A in Canton. By CD Country 107.9, your home in the country. And by M. Bixler Video Productions.